Hey YouTube, how's it going? Well, first thing I want to say is that thank you very much to those who donated to help that family in need. It's very much appreciated. An update on that is that there is a new job in the works and it will help quite a bit. Of course, a paycheck isn't going to be seen for possibly as long as 3 or 4 weeks. I'm not exactly sure. It's one of those things where it's a 2-week pay period, and you know how long it can be to get that first check, and it's a real bear to get through to it. But in any event, things are looking up a little better. It's still a really tight, sticky, nasty situation, and they still need help. So if you feel up to it, you feel, give it some thought. And there's a link in the description for that. Now, I have recently been rewatching the Halloween movies. As a matter of fact, I've seen more of them in the last week or so than I ever have before. You see, way back when I saw the original one, Halloween, was made in 1978. They did pretty good with that one. And in 1981 it was Halloween 2, which picked up right where the first one left off. Perfect continuity. It worked. It was just great. And then sometime, well, let me look. I got notes on the screen here. October 1982, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It should not have had Halloween in its name, because Michael Myers was not in it, nor mentioned, nor did the movie have anything to do with Michael Myers. If they'd have just called it Season of the Witch, that would have been enough. That would have been a much better, much more appropriate title, and it didn't have to have Halloween in it at all. Somebody was trying to milk the Halloween name, and I think a lot of viewers got really disappointed when Michael Myers didn't even show up. It wasn't even mentioned. Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, that one didn't happen. Then you've got in 1988, 89, and 95, you've got Return of Michael Myers in Halloween 4, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, and in 95, you've got The Curse of Michael Myers. Those kind of continue the story. There's a little bit of back and forth. No, actually, if I'm not mistaken, The Curse of it is when Laurie Strode comes back into it. But in 4 and 5, in The Return and the Revenge, the story says that Laurie Strode was killed, and it turns out that the main person that Michael is after is her daughter, who ends up getting offed at the end of one of those, I think. And okay-ish. Not horrible, but okay-ish. And then you come down to Halloween H20, 20 years later, which is a kind of a redundant title. Really. That one ignores pretty much everything after the first 2, I think it is. And you've got Laurie Strode 20 years after the events of the first one, under an assumed name and all paranoid and having all kinds of head problems because she's been living in fear all this time, and then Michael Myers shows up and yada yada. Sort of okay. Not what I would call super great. Again, like with Halloween 3, mostly I think it's milking the Halloween name. It's too much of a retcon, where they go back and say, let's just change the history and we'll just make it forward as a new timeline or something. I would have appreciated instead some kind of continuity with previously existing storylines. I prefer that very much. This one, it's like 3, 4, and 5, or 4, 5, and 6 didn't happen, and that's no good. Then you got Halloween Resurrection, which is like a sequel to H20, and it's kind of bleh. For one thing, he didn't get resurrected because the head that was cut off, you see, Laurie Strode apparently cut off his head at the end of the other one, and then you find out in the beginning of this one that it wasn't Michael that the head got cut off of. It was somebody that he had crushed the larynx and put the mask on him and dressed him like him and so on. His larynx crushed, he couldn't say he wasn't Michael, and so when she swung the axe and cut his head off, it was the wrong person, and she ends up in the nut house. Yeah. No good. Certainly not a resurrection. He was not at any point dead, so therefore could not be resurrected. Kind of not too good at all, really. Then we come to something that I will prefer to hope never happens again, and that is Rob Zombie in 2009. And by the way, Rob Zombie, that's a really terrible name. Obviously, he changed it to that. I'm sure nobody has the name Zombie for real. But a complete reboot. And there was the reboot in 2007, and then in 2009, Halloween 2, where he continued his reboot. Abso-frackin-lutely terrible. Terrible. Horrible. Because he took the horror of Michael Myers and he turned it into this touchy-feely, psychobabble, everybody's got mental issues bullcrap. And it just doesn't fly. It just simply doesn't fly. The remake, the 2007 remake, I have watched about 3/4 of it. And I can't stand to look at it anymore. The 2009 sequel to the remake, I'm not even going to look at because it's going to be more of the same. Touchy-feely psychobabble, everybody's emo crazy, and it's, no, it just doesn't fly. It's crap. It's just absolute crap. And this makes me think that I'm going to think twice about ever watching another Rob Zombie film. I'll guarantee you that. And then 2018, this one I have not seen yet, Halloween, another complete reboot. It goes and just, I'm not sure if it's a reboot or picking up after the first movie and discounting everything that happened after that, so another retcon. Spare me from retcons. Tell the story. Have continuity from one movie to the next. Have somebody in charge of continuity to look over the details and make sure that you're not telling some kind of bogus story where you're getting the facts wrong from one film to the next. Have some continuity. Have the story be continuous, and the facts in one story are not ignored or changed or just not thought of in all of the sequels or a sequel or whatever. Keep your stuff straight. I mean, seriously. But anyway, that's what's going on. I've had my fill of the Halloween stuff. The first two were good. The next, forget Halloween 3. That didn't happen. But 4, 5, and 6, okay-ish. Everything after that is descending into deeper and deeper layers of crap. And I have no idea, and at this point, no hope for the 2018 remake, or reboot, or re-reboot, or whatever. Let me put it this way. Enough with the reboots. Because you ruin the story by changing it too much. Alright, that's it. I've been talking for 10.5 minutes. It's time for me to shut up and say thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.
Mr. TinFoilChef.